This is QDR Country. Give myself 5 more minutes like that. QDR and only QDR. QDR, today's best country. WQDR FM HD1 Raleigh. Powered locally by Progressive. 5-star service for plumbing, electrical, heating, and air. Family owned and operated and ready to help at callprogressive.com.
Keith and Kelsey next Friday. Muscle Credit Union Music Park at Walnut Creek. How you doing? It's Sean Cash this afternoon. Would love to get you some free tickets. Let's do it at 121. Oh, and I'll get you qualified to go backstage.
Today's best and most continuous country. 94.7 QDR.
It's Chris White for the Chris White Show, and it's loud in here, Alan.
I'm sorry about that. Lots of fans.
Turn this transmitter off so I can hear you.
Sorry.
Now, we are, first off, tell the folks who you are.
My name is Alan Sherrill. I'm the Vice President for Engineering for Curtis Media Group.
You just got fancy on me, Alan.
I'm sorry.
You just got fancy. I just knew you were an engineer. I didn't know you did all that.
Yeah, I'd love to throw my titles around and stuff.
Now, I've come out here we're in Garner, right?
Actually, where we are is called Auburn. It's a little unincorporated community over that way.
Okay, Auburn?
Auburn, North Carolina.
Never heard of it. Now I have.
Well, we call this the Auburn Tower.
The Auburn Tower.
Yes.
And for folks who listen to 94.7 WQDR in Raleigh, country station, Powerhouse, Alan.
Yes.
QDR and only.
Only QDR.
There you go. Now we are out here at the transmitter site. A lot of people don't know that the actual tower is not in the backyard of the studio.
That's pretty common with radio stations. Usually the studios are going to be at a separate site from where the transmitter is. Not always, but most of the time.
And why is that?
It has to do with mainly convenience, where things can be located in terms of property values. A lot of times where a studio is located, it's not really appropriate to have a big tower there. If you have a studio, say, in the middle of town someplace, usually the tower needs to be situated somewhere else. There are lots of factors that determine where the tower goes, but there's zoning issues, there's FCC allocation issues, and it's really it varies from one station to the next, but that usually is the case.
Now, how do you get the signal from the studio, which is about how many miles away from the tower?
It's roughly about 11, 12 miles, I believe.
So 12 miles, are you running 12 miles of cable, or what are you doing?
No, we actually have a microwave studio to transmitter link.
Now tell the folks what that is, because when we think microwave, we think of heating up food.
Right. It's actually a radio transmitter and receiver that operate at a relatively low power, and they have directional antennas, dishes, and they send a signal from one point to another point. And there's usually radio station audio and some other associated data that are on that signal. And in our case, the link is bidirectional. That means that we can send stuff both ways.
Now, what is the distance? How far away can you be from the studio with the microwave?
It depends on a lot of technical things, how much power the link is running, the size of the antennas on either end. I've heard of cases where they're about 40 miles.
40 miles.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're about 18 miles or so from the studio?
Well, it's more like 10 or 11.
10 to 11, yeah. 18 miles. Now, this is the QDR transmitter right back here.
Yes.
How many watts is WQDR? Because FM is rated in watts. How many watts do we have?
This is where it gets a little tricky, because with FM stations, you have what's called effective radiated power, which is the apparent power that's radiated by the antenna. And that changes depending on several different factors. But QDR is what's called a Class C station, and the top rated power for that class of station is 100,000 watts. And that's what we're licensed for. Actually, we're licensed for a little less because of some modifications done to the antenna. There's something called beam tilt, which I don't really need to go into with you. But we're about 95 kilowatts as per license. The actual transmitter power output you can see on the screen there, it's 31 kilowatts.
Now, how tall is the tower?
This tower is about 2,000 feet tall.
2,000 feet. How do you get up there?
How do you get up on the tower?
You got to do some work. How do you get up there? Are you going up there?
I don't go up there. I pay people to do that.
Oh, okay. Now, how do they get up there?
This tower actually has an elevator.
You ever been in the elevator?
I have. I've been up on the tower before.
No way.
Yes.
All the way up?
I went to about 1,400 feet.
And you'd had enough?
Well, I could have gone further. I just didn't need to.
What do people do up there when they go up there, though?
Work on antennas and transmission lines and maintain the tower, paint it, that sort of thing.
Now, when you go up there, that's a lot of energy up that way. Do you have to cut the transmitter back when you go up there because it's just that much energy? Is it safe?
Yes, you do, and it depends on how close you're getting to a radiating antenna. But yes, for safety reasons, if you're going to be approaching any of the active antennas up there, and there are several, you have to be careful about that. And in some cases, the stations have to either turn down or turn off.
Right. And in this large building I'm going to show you here in a second, you've got numerous radio stations in here, WQDR being one of the only ones. What other ones do you have?
This building we share with WRAL FM, WCMC FM 99.9, I believe this calls. WRDC television is here, channel 28. And there may be some other smaller stations that I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a lot of radio frequency coming off of this tower, and the towers that are nearby too.
Is it safe for us to be out here right now?
It's absolutely safe.
Do you ever worry about that when you come out here, all the energy?
Nah.
None at all?
I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I'm perfectly normal.
Hey. Now, in a lightning storm, we had a couple of thunderstorms the other night.
Yeah.
What happens? Does the tower ever get struck by lightning?
I've not been here. I've not seen that when it happens, but almost assuredly it does, just because it's a big metal thing sticking up in the air.
How do you protect against that?
Lots and lots of grounding and lightning dissipation systems. But this building, you'll see when you move the camera around, we've got lots of copper strap on the walls, and there's copper underneath, and all the transmitters and all the equipment racks are all connected to the copper strap that is connected to a ground system around the tower.
Gotcha. All right, we're going to take a look around here.
Chris White Show.
Now, if QDR ever goes off the air with the main transmitter, we come over to, this is the backup transmitter.
That's correct.
And that's used for emergency use, or what else?
Well, that's primarily what it's supposed to do. It keeps us on the air in the event that we have a problem with the main over here. And this, at one time, was the main transmitter.
How many watts is that?
This tops out at about 35 kilowatts.
So close to that one.
Yeah.
This one's probably turned back a little bit, the newer one, right?
Well, this one tops out at about 40.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it runs a little bit less than the nameplate. One big difference between this one and the Harris here, this is a tube transmitter. This actually has a big tube in it.
Does it sound better to you?
I think they both sound great.
They sound the same to you?
Yes.
Now, if this transmitter, the one that's on the air, were to go down, would the listener ever know that this one thumped over?
I don't believe they'd be able to tell. The average person will be able to tell the difference.
And that's happened before?
Yes, it has. Not very often.
And you got to come out here?
Yes.
And look at it?
Yep.
Ever come out here real late at night?
I have.
And you're able to troubleshoot the transmitter?
Yes.
And fix it?
In most cases.
Do you have like spare parts laying around?
Yes, we do.
And you just put them right in?
Yep.
Chris White Show.
So now we're looking at the QDR processing rack.
Yeah.
And show us the microwave that we were speaking of. I guess this is like a fancy walkie-talkie that we're talking about for the average person. So the walkie-talkie, one end is back at the studio and the other end is here. Right. Show us kind of where that is.
Okay, this is the microwave studio transmitter link that we're currently using, and it's a digital link. It's pretty advanced. And
are you happy with it?
I am absolutely happy with it. And a few years ago, WQDR converted to what's called HD radio, and this was part of that upgrade. And all the audio that's being carried on this is digital. It's actually, I don't know how technical we're getting here, but it's IP packets. So that's part of what this is all about.
Kind of like streaming.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar. We also have a backup microwave in case this one quits working.
Goes out. So your redundant systems.
Yes.
You got to have it.
Yeah.
What is this fancy thing?
That's actually what's called an exciter, and that's connected to the backup transmitter over there. This is the device that actually generates the 94.7 signal, and then the rest of it is amplified.
I got you. So this is how you tune your frequency, and then it gets amplified over there.
That's correct.
What else do we have here?
This is an audio processor. This is
That looks new. Is it new?
it's actually, we bought it about 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
You like it?
Yeah, it's great.
Anything in here you don't like? You like everything, don't you?
Is there anything I don't like? This is actually probably absolutely our best site. I mean, it's very well thought out, very well designed, lots of space. Air conditioning is...
I'm impressed with the air conditioning.
Yeah, air conditioning is wonderful. Tons and tons and tons of AC.
Anything else special, or is this just old stuff you just didn't throw out?
I just mentioned the HD radio. This is part of that. This is what's called an exporter. And without getting too technical, this is what generates the HD radio signal. And anybody with an HD radio can pick it up, and it technically sounds a little better than the analog signal.
And it's called what now?
HD radio.
No, this thing right here.
Oh, this is called an exporter.
Wasn't that a movie? The Exporter?
Yeah.
No, that was a transporter.
Transporter, yes.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we can call that a movie.
Chris White Show.
All right, Alan, tell us what we have here.
This is a generator that provides emergency power for, it's mainly intended for channel 28, but we also draw power off of it for QDR.
So the power goes down out here one night. This thing thumps on.
Yes.
And it supplies the power for WQDR to stay on the air.
Yes. In actuality, there's a separate transmitter, or I'm sorry, generator out back that is for QDR only. But this one usually is the one that comes on.
Chris White Show.
All right, so we're walking toward the platform here of the QDR tower. This is the walk in the plank, shall we say.
Well, I wouldn't characterize it that way because hopefully you're coming back down the same way you went up.
Fair enough, but this is the entry point for the elevator.
Yes, it is. And the elevator landing is right up there. And you can see the elevator car right there. I don't know if
That thing is, I'll show people, that
Yeah.
thing is, that's small, Alan. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a one-man show.
you can fit 2 people in there.
You got to be good friends.
You got to be good friends. If you're really, really chummy, you might be able to get 3 in there.
3 in there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then 1 or 2 people can ride on top.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
OSHA says that's the best idea. If you run out of room, put a person up top.
I don't think that's a problem if they're secured. I think that's perfectly safe, and people do it all the time, and I wouldn't have any problem doing it.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Chris White Show.
Give me a quick liner from your old station. Go.
Which station?
The kick station, and go.
85 WKIX.
There you go. There you go.
It's the Chris White Show on the go, coming at you in stereo.